Today we're talking about 4 things that just blow my mind, that anybody thinks it's okay to teach their students. This is not just something that pops up once in a while. It's frequent, whether it be seminars, I go somewhere and like, oh no, my instructor said to do this, or people message me and they're like, oh yeah, my coach said to do this. And I'm going, what the heck? Has your coach ever even had a fight? These make 0 sense. I want to make sure you guys understand these things, and right from the mouth of a Glory, a Bellator world champion, I just tell you, no, these can or cannot be done. Before we get to that, my movement course, where we're focusing on ways to train the footwork, ways to improve the balance, ways to understand range training, that is now available again. Link down below, just $99 for this course, which has 25 plus videos and 3 recorded live calls where anybody who is actually involved in the early bird pricing and the actual course over 5 weeks, they ask questions and I was able to sit there and answer. You can watch that as well. Fantastic course. So the first thing that we are talking about today that just blows my mind is when people say, when you throw your low kick, you land with your shin. You have to land with your shin. What does this do when you tell somebody that? They think, okay, I have to land with my shin. Therefore, I have to get myself into this range here, this tight range. So I'm always smashing that big bone right into their thigh. And while this is a very effective technique, yes, 100%, if you can do that, good for you. But when you have that mindset, you think, okay, I have to be kicking at that range, and you always step into punching range. I don't think I can land with my shin, this is the very lowest part of my shin, and not be at punch range. So now all of a sudden you start thinking, geez, low kicks are really risky, because I always have to be protecting myself or getting my head off the center line. I'm always getting countered after. What about just taking that step back and landing with your foot? Now the argument there would be, oh, well, if you land your foot on somebody's knee, it's really gonna hurt it. It's gonna blow up. Well, guess what? Have you ever kicked somebody without a shin pad on their knee, have your shin smash into their knee? That hurts a whole heck of a lot as well. They both hurt. They are both effective techniques when landing. You can definitely KO somebody with a low kick with your foot as well as the shin. So to teach, you only land with your shin. And yes, there are instructors out there who teach that. It blows my mind. So start understanding that the striking surface area could be all the way up here, all the way down to there. You don't want to land with your toes, because I find that that one there just doesn't really hurt and you can actually hyperextend your own foot. But if you start getting a little bit lower and you're just landing with this section, yes, you can absolutely damage them. And you just have to always be ready to pull your kick, right? You see them about to check and you're just like, okay, I'm not going to commit the same way. That's pretty much it. The next thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to grab a pair of gloves here, is when people say you cannot protect your head and your body simultaneously unless you put your hands like this. And yes, again, I've been told this. Somebody said, oh, my instructor teaches us to put our hands here so we can protect our body at the same time. And he said, oh, you don't have to worry about getting hit in the forehead because it doesn't hurt. Well, I've seen many people get hurt getting smacked up there. I've been hurt getting hit up here. And one of my fights, I'm pretty sure it bounced right off that area and I'm pretty sure knocked down. I have to go back and watch the footage and see exactly where it landed, but I'm pretty sure it was right up there. Anyway, you can simultaneously protect your body and protect your entire head by not having a straight back, by curling your back. Now, while the posture looks terrible, I can protect my high part of my head and go down here. And that's why you see many people who can just shell up and just sit in there. Watch Canelo. He protects his whole self all at once while somebody's laying into him. You don't want to stay there the whole fight, of course, but if somebody steps in, they're just kind of bombing shots and you're just going, yeah, I just want to sink in, go ahead and do that. You don't need to be overly fearful of going, okay, I have to protect my head. Okay, now my body, now my head, or I have to keep my hands here. It's foolish for anybody to teach that. The next element that I want to talk about is these gyms, and these are high-level gyms, super high level gyms actually, where they say you have to throw your hook like this, or you have to throw your hook like this, or like this. And I've been at those gyms where they correct you and they're like, no, 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 none of this garbage, throw like that. So I spend a whole week or 2 or months down in Thailand throwing like that, and I hurt my wrist and it feels terrible, absolutely terrible. And I'm going, why? Why do we have to do that? And then you come to America and you have the guys who teach like this. They're like, no, 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 this doesn't make sense. Guess what? Certain styles of punches make sense for certain fighters. You can throw there, you can throw here, you can change it up depending on what height you're going at or what length you want to throw it. There's no exact right or wrong very often when it comes to techniques, and that's all that's important for you to understand. Do what works best for you. Obviously, if somebody says, okay, I'm going to come forward, I'm going to throw my shots like this with a straight arm and slap, I'd be going, well, there's probably better alternatives than that. But guess what? Landing like this, landing like this, landing like this, they're all powerful. And each person is going to feel better with one style over the other style. Completely up to you to pick. Yeah, before we move on, if you guys are liking the outfit, XMartial, I'm always wearing XMartial. I love their stuff. I have a promo code down below, Gabriel Varga, where you can save 10%. The last element that I want to talk about today, which just once again, I kind of go, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, is when we are dealing with the roundhouse kicks. The round kicks are a fickle thing, right? Now, we're not going to get too much into the technique. This is more so about where your hands go when you throw them. But still remember, like all different people teach different. Some people are like, hey, when you throw your low kick, you don't have to pivot. Some people say yes. There's lots of variety there, but there's an argument for all of that. The one that I don't get is when you're throwing your round kick, especially the body and head level, what your hand should be doing. Now, most people will teach swing this arm down. And therefore they say, okay, this hand has to come down the middle to deal with punches. My argument is always a low kick. Yes, a low kick can be within range of punches, as we already talked about. A body round kick should be way out of range of punches unless you're jamming your shin up into their torso. And if you're doing that and they decide to punch at the same time, they're going to eat the brunt of the kick. So it's terrible for them. So with that in mind, with knowing that I'm safe from punches here, and if I go further away, I'm safe from punches, why am I putting my hand here? Why are instructors teaching that? Because they don't understand range. They don't understand that the only threat when somebody throws a round kick is another round kick coming up and smacking them in the head. They're not going to front kick you to the face when you're doing this. They're not going to side kick you to the face when you're doing this. The threat is them throwing a round kick at head level. You have your hand down, they kick a little earlier, boom. And all you have to do is go and watch Alex Pereira versus Jason Wilness for the Glory World title, and you'll see what I mean. Perfect example of why this hand has to be perfectly positioned. So instead of going here where the round kick can still wrap around, you keep your hand right here. And everybody should be teaching that. If you want to protect yourself from straight punches, and you're going, okay, I was going to throw a pretty jammed in low kick, it's the swinging arm that can come and block everything. Now I'm protected here and I'm protected here. So instead of whipping this all the way down, I just whip it to here. It's perfect. So these are things that people teach, but they don't really understand because they've probably never been in the ring and had a fight at, first of all, a high level or at all. There's a good chance they've never had a fight at all. So if they're teaching you any of the things that I mentioned today in the incorrect way, do yourself a favor, make the adjustment, and let yourself go, okay, I think Gabriel knows what he's talking about, and I'm going to listen to him. And if you're an instructor out there, I hope I broke down everything in a way that is very easy for you to understand. You go, that makes sense, and I'm going to teach things in that way now. That was my goal for today's episode. Thanks for joining. I'll see you guys back here very soon.